right now I want to talk to one of the biggest minds on Wall Street. Beginning in January, he came out with the top 10 surprises for what he believed would be 2017. And among them, he said GDP will top 3%. The S&P 500 hits 2,500. We're not too far from that. The euro falls below parity against the dollar. And President Trump, quote, moves away from his more extreme positions on virtually all issues to the dismay of some right-wing loyalists. That one, dead wrong, Byron. Let's bring in the vice chairman of Blackstone, the writer of that list, Byron Wien, the leading private equity and real estate investor, has $367 billion under management. Before we get to how wrong you were on that, let me get to why, just from your untrained eye, and again, we don't know any reasoning yet, why you think that the cybersecurity executive order signing was just canceled. Well, you can only speculate. But my belief is that they want to make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. The executive order on immigration, I think, was not well handled. They had a lot of backlash on that. I think their popularity was diminished by it. Their approval rating went down. And I don't think they want to have a repeat of that. Even though, so they want to make sure it's as close to perfect as they can make it. Even though some polls do show a lot of Americans agree with this immigration order. Listen, every new administration, Republican, Democrat, makes these mulligans. They're mistakes. So they learn. You think this is maybe that learning process where they say, wait a minute, let's check the language and the fine print here. I think what they didn't do in the immigration thing is they didn't talk to corporations. They didn't talk to universities. They didn't realize all the collateral damage this would do. And I think they want to make sure that the cybersecurity thing is similarly checked out. Okay, let me get to... You're such a good sport. You're allowing me to beat you up for a major misstep in your 2017 predictions. The year, it's still January. This is true. It's still a young year. It still could happen. But Donald Trump is doing anything but scaling back any of his campaign promises. He has dived in and he said, I got elected on a lot of this. I'm doing it. That's absolutely right. I said he would back away from his extreme positions, and so far that's wrong. But in order to get done what he wants to get done, he campaigned on a number of social issues, but also on a pro-growth agenda. He wants to get that implemented. And that's the most important thing he can accomplish in 2017. He's got to increase jobs. He's got to reduce regulation. He's got to spend money on infrastructure. And my view is the way to get that done is to focus on it and not focus on some of these ancillary issues. Well, look, let's talk about that trifecta. You're talking about tax cuts, infrastructure spending, cutting regulation. He did make big news on cutting regulation yesterday, but the tax cut issue, Fox Business started reporting yesterday on news that any kind of big tax cuts, whether they be for corporations or individuals, may get pushed to 2018. That shook the markets, didn't it? Right. We're counting on something happening this year. And if it doesn't? And if it doesn't, it's a negative. I mean, tax cuts can help both individuals and corporations. The consensus earnings for the S&P 500 is 120 to 125. I'm using 130, but I need some tax cuts to get there. The consensus earnings are important, but deregulation is important. You know, literally hundreds of billions of dollars could be saved if the regulatory environment were relaxed somewhat. Yeah, well, he says 2 for 1. You want a new regulation, you've got to get rid of 2. That's a good start, is it not? It is. So my belief is he will begin to focus on the substantive part of his program, the pro-growth part. And that's what made me positive on the outlook. But if he doesn't get there, if it's deferred to 2018, that's bad news for me. Byron Wien, lovely to have you.